Hey guys, it's Jenny with Art for Good. So one of my favorite things to do is to create landscapes using fluid acrylic, and I would love to show you this piece we're working on today. So I'm starting with some iridescent white that I'm putting down, and I'm actually going to use this as my sun. So I'm going to put my bowl down. This is one of my tricks where I preserve that white segment and blow the rest of the painting around it to create really dramatic skies and clouds. I'm working with a custom mixed color here today that's a mix of hot pink and copper and rose gold. And I'm just looping this around in the sky in kind of an upward fashion, like you would see the clouds doing. I'm using more iridescent white and just putting that around the bowl. And then I have titanium white here that I'm doing the same thing with. And I'm gonna grab my hairdryer and make sure to hold the bowl down and just go around the bowl and sweeping up to the left here. It's funny, I posted this as a reel on Instagram, and people were very concerned about these flowers that I have on the table here. I was just trimming my bougainvillea tree, and it's huge, and so this is like nothing compared to the flowers still on that tree. But I thought, hey, this would be a really pretty addition to sort of the cinematography of my video. So anyways, don't be worried about those flowers. Those are not live flowers anymore. I'm going to add a little bit more white around just to give it a little more dimension in some of the areas. I'm working with a 20 by 24 gallery wrap canvas today. I usually buy these in bulk from the craft stores. So this was from Michael's. I got a box of 6. I think it was about $120 or so. So always be looking for those good deals. I'm going in with this ivory black, and I'm going to create the mountain range. So I'm also adding in some of the iridescent white. I also have some gray here. Now, if you are new to acrylic paint pouring, my paint recipe is acrylic paint, like a high quality paint, mixed with Floetrol and water. So I have a whole video I will link here on how I mix my paints. One of my favorite tools to use is this cake spatula. It's big enough where it makes a difference, it makes consistency in my swipes, and it's just a great hack that I found. I'm gonna also use the hairdryer here. I didn't quite like that I wasn't getting a lot of variance in color and no contrast with the swipe technique. So on the fly, I just decided to blow this out a little bit more. And blowing some of that rose gold color over the black is going to make it look like it's the sunlight shining over these mountains. I did have to speed up this video slightly just to get it to a reasonable length. So if you're wondering why I'm moving at superhuman speed, that is the reason. A lot of times people are hesitant to actually blow out too much of a Dutch pour. I think a lot of people use a Dutch pour technique for making flowers or really careful compositions, and I tend to like to use it almost like a paintbrush in that it's blending the colors together a little bit more than I've seen other artists use it. So that's why you see me continually blowing the hairdryer across, adding colors, just working in layers, going from dark to light in most cases. Just taking a moment to make sure all my edges are covered. It's a lot easier to do this in the moment than it is to go back and try to match colors to cover up any bare spots on the canvas. All right, now it's time to remove the bowl and see what's underneath. Now, you want to make sure when you're doing this to be very careful, but most of the time you're going to have some things that have happened underneath. The paint might have seeped through, you might have some of the paint missing in spots, so I often have to go back and do some touch-ups, which is totally fine. So here I have my paint kind of shifted a little bit and due to me pushing on the bowl. And I also had some pink leak through. As you'll see later on in the video, I kind of mess around with this sun a little bit. It looks a little too big here, so I decide to do some things, which I'll show you, to help make it a little more realistic looking. All right, now I'm going in with my secret weapon, and that is rose gold spray paint. I have been in a very rose gold mood lately. If you've been following any of my videos, it has been in most of my color palettes lately. So I'm adding that in almost like a mist in front of the mountain range, and I will tell you this makes a huge difference in the composition of the painting. So I'm gonna go around, just around the edges. I'm not gonna cover the whole thing up, but it helps the eye sort of go up towards that sun, which is the focal point of the painting. And it begins to look like a misty mountain range. And it has the most incredible shine when when it dries. It looks metallic, like fully metallic, and so it creates a kind of a unique piece. It's time to go in and kind of try to touch up this sun. And once you put spray paint down, even if you don't directly spray an area, it can become very tacky. It's not easy to manipulate your composition as well. So as you can see here, I tried to do some painting and then realized there was a little bit of residue from the rose gold spray paint. So I am having to wipe that off and then fill it back in with paint, and then I'm going to use some white spray paint as well to create more of a misty effect on the sun. I'm using a straw here because it is a little bit easier to control and gives it a wispy look without having to use the hairdryer, which is going to completely change this whole painting if I were to do that. Now I have links to all of the products that I've used in this painting down in the description below, so you can find these things on Amazon. So you don't have to be trying to wonder what exactly I'm using or try to follow along as I'm dictating here. You can always find those in the descriptions below. Okay, so the next step that I did, I unfortunately didn't film, but you'll see in the bottom portion of this painting, there's some dark parts. So while this rose gold spray paint was still wet, I just took a gloved finger and created some mountain patterns in the foreground. That black from the underneath that we put down as the base layer is just shining through this way. So this is a really cool technique you can play around with. I've done some others with a sunset theme, but once you spray the spray paint down, you can just dab it with a finger and it will show through the background. So it creates a lot of dimension, a lot of interest. And this is the final piece, how it ended up. I did end up fixing the sun a little bit more. I just added in a smaller white circle in the center once it was dry, and that really helped bring this whole piece together. I'd love to hear what you think about this piece, and if you would want to give it a try, let me know how it goes. Let me know if you have any questions on my techniques or my tools. I'm happy to help create a community where we're all learning and sharing together. Well, that's all the time I have for today. If you're interested in some other fluid art landscapes that I've done, I will leave you with a playlist here so you can continue watching. I'll see you next time.